Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have Microtech on the channel, which is not something that some of my viewers may expect to see because I've been a little rough on Microtech lately. I just feel like the OTF world has really gotten competitive almost out of nowhere. You know, for years and years, Microtech was like the one. It was the best you could get, and just in the past probably 5-6 months, there's been some very, very competitive offerings brought out from other manufacturers that were also made in the United States. Now, there's been a couple that have been around a little longer than that, but it just seems like the competition's been starting to catch up with Microtech lately. They haven't been evolving with the time quite as much as some other companies have been kind of upping the game. And I do get that to an extent because Microtech had something really good going. But all of a sudden, in terms of pricing and materials, things got very competitive, and there were some things that I didn't really like that Microtech was doing. All of a sudden, I came across this, and I thought, you know what? I owe it to Microtech to take a look at this and see just what they're stirring up, because this is a newer model, not like brand new, but it's relatively new. And of course, this is brought to you by Blade Ops, guys. Look them up for all things sharp. Be sure to click that link below in this overview of this knife right here if you want to pick one up. And I think it's really going to get some people's attention. It is a pretty good one. We are going to do a little unboxing of it right here, right now, and take a look at it. And it is an OTF, but it's not an Ultratech. This here is the Microtech Hera. And I wasn't too sure about this when I first saw it, because I thought, what's going to make it so different? Obviously, this is a little special edition. This is a signature series, and it's all blacked out. This is a huge reason why I picked this one, because I really like that dulled down Microtech logo. Not that I dislike the Microtech logo, but I don't want a big billboard of a big white claw on all my Microtechs. This is a great solution to that. Really like what they did there. And the other huge thing with this knife, there's actually two. As you can see, there's no glass breaker, so this is immediately more attractive to me. But then you flip it over and look at that. Look at this pocket clip. Before we even pop that blade out, I really want to put some time on this pocket clip, because this is an amazing design for a pocket clip that Microtech has stirred up. Very nice, detailed milling, extremely attractive. The retention on this ball is extremely good. Now, of course, this was like an unboxing, but I've actually had it out of the box. I kind of left it in the box to stir up a little hype, but it has been out of the box. I'm not gonna try to lie to you guys. I have put this in and out of the pocket, and it is great. It is absolutely great in and out of the pocket. Aesthetics alone, this is a winner. But then when you factor in performance and then ergos, this pocket clip in hand, you do feel the ball. I mean, there's no getting around that. But how can it be a hot spot? It's completely round, and it's not. You feel it, but it also kind of finds a nice spot in between, like right in this little dip here is kind of where it goes. So it feels very good. Let's pop this blade out. And look at that. This is the double-edged version. I believe there is some other blade options for this model. Now, again, the Hera is relatively new. They're still cranking out the flavors and in different versions of it. So I'm not 100% sure of just what exactly is out there and what's possible to get with this. But I gotta say, I am absolutely in love with this version right here. I love how the black calms everything down. You don't have any annoying branding anywhere. Even I believe this is what Anthony Marfione's signature. That's even cool because it's dimmed down. It's got this level of like badass elegance to it that I am a huge fan of. I like the little contouring on the handle. It feels pretty darn good in hand. The one complaint I do have about it that I don't know why Microtech does it, is the harsh texturing they put on the actuator. Now, there's pros and cons to that, and you really have to know how to operate an OTF, especially a Microtech. And obviously, the short answer is, well, yeah, you push it out and the blade comes. That's very true. But a much thumb-friendlier way to do it is to not put your thumb right on the X right here. Like, maybe like X marks the spot for some people, and you just want to do that, and, you know, just do this back and forth. That's what'll really tear on your thumb. But if you put your thumb right here and push up, that actually feels fine. And then to bring it down, go to the top and pull down, and it's not nearly as aggressive. Now, some people will say, well, you're just trying to make excuses for what they messed up on and made it way too harsh. Not really, because what this also does is really, it kind of acts as jimping almost, because you obviously don't want to slide up and touch that blade, because Microtechs do have a pretty damn razor sharp edge. So that would suck. If you slipped up and put your thumb on that, that would hurt. So this really does act kind of like jimping when you're using the knife. You could hold it like this, and you just keep your thumb basically pressed down on there, and you don't have to worry about it sliding up. Or you could also flip it around and use it like this. And I also really like this because they have some very nice jimping here. And I think this may be one of the reasons why they did that. This extra jimping they've added here is not too aggressive, but very, very effective. And when you have your thumb on there, your thumb's locked, and then your other finger is basically, you know, the odds of your bottom finger sliding up like that, it's just not really going to happen because you're naturally kind of holding it back. So you hold it like this, you're doing your cutting and working, whatever. Then when you want to close it, you just pull your index finger down. I'm actually really becoming a big fan of that, and the clip feels just as good in hand when you have it reversed like this. Now keep in mind, I'm a righty, so if you're a lefty, you know, that's going to change things up a little. But for me, being a righty, pop it out. I can either hold it like this and use the button as the jimping and just kind of hold it here. Or, like I said, I'm really becoming a fan of this. It feels more and more natural as I hold it in my hand. And the way my fingers wrap around the clip, it just feels good. It feels okay. Like when I hold it in my hand like this, I don't feel like I'm holding it the wrong way. It feels like there's two very effective ways to hold this knife. And I like that a whole lot. Now, just how big is this knife? We're looking at a 3-inch blade, and let's do some size comparisons. Let's move the Blade Ops Valet tray out of the way for a second. Let's put it this way, because that clip is kind of, while this clip is very nice, one thing it's not is low profile. It sticks up relatively high compared to the handle, but again, ergonomically it feels good. And you got plenty of room. This will hold the thickest jeans, the thickest pants, so no concern about what will or will not fit in that pocket clip. So all the clearance there. And now let's grab a couple, bring it back a square here. Let's compare it to some knives here. A pretty good comparison right here, the Civivi Elementum. Which, well, actually, no, never mind. I take that back. Sometimes even I am thrown off when I go to bring things up on the review table for size comparisons. What else do we got here, though? Here we got a Civivi Brazen, which is a slightly bigger knife, but the chassis of the Hera, you know, the chassis on an OTF is usually always a little more noticeably longer than the blade because of, you know, all the inner workings and whatnot. But as you can see, it really is right in the middle of the Elementum and the Brazen, so that's nice. But a very good size comparison. Yeah, almost fell on my chair. And another American-made beauty here, the Hogue Deca. Let's compare it with the Deca, and as you can see, spot on. Pretty much perfect comparison with the Hogue Deca there. And that's really, I think, about as good as we'll get for a size comparison. That's spot on. So if you like the size of a Deca and you want to buy American-made and you want to get an OTF, this is a pretty good option. I'm really surprised. Microtech is pulling me back in a little. And another thing that I really like about this knife, some people may not like it, I actually do like it, is the finish on this. So here's my other Microtech. This is my my Exo set, and you can probably even see, you can maybe kind of tell just by the light reflecting off it. This has a little more of a sheen. This is like a complete flat black, which is the typical finish on Microtech chassis. But this one here has a little more sheen, and it feels a little different in hand. I don't want to say it feels slicker, but you don't feel that matte finish. So some people might consider it to be a little slicker, but it's really more of like, almost, the blade actually has a little more sheen on it, and the sheen dies down a little on the chassis, but it's actually, I don't know, I almost look at it as an improvement. If it's not an improvement, it's just a change, and it's definitely a noticeable one. When I pulled it out of the bag for the first time and looked at it, I thought, yeah, that is definitely a different finish. And then, of course, with the pocket clip being a little nicer and cleaner, a lot nicer and a lot cleaner, they moved some of the marking over to the side here. And again, this is all blacked out, so you don't see it that much, which is great. Another thing that, you know, Microtech's, the billboarding was so obvious because it was so, you know, the contrast and the colors and whatnot. And everything is just so sleek and just murdered out on this model right here. I love this. But you got Hera, you got the birth date, the March 2022, and then the serial number, which is 652. I just love this model, and I love this flavor, this version. I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, this complete chassis with just a stonewash blade, because I'm not always the biggest fan of coated blades, but the black on black on black looks so good. This pocket clip, this chassis, these ergos, that Microtech action, this is a winner for me. Now, the two negatives. A little too much aggressive jimping or texturing here on the actuator. But like I said, it also kind of works as jimping, and it can guarantee that you're not going to slip on it. But then also the price. This one here, I believe, is somewhere north of $500. I want to say maybe like $500 to $550, somewhere like that. Now, you can get them for less because, again, this is the Signature Series, a little special. You can get the Hera with kind of like the regular print on the handle. And it still comes with a pocket clip. There's just a few small differences. I'll have a few different ones linked below to Blade Ops for you guys to check out. But as always, there's lots of flavors. This one here, it really pulled my attention to it because it was a little sleeker. There wasn't so much stuff like billboarding and popping out on it. So it obviously had me gravitating to it a little more than the others. But that is the Microtech Hera, guys. Let me know what you think of this model, because I really think Microtech is onto something here, and I really hope they take some of the changes they've applied to this Hera and spread it out across their product line. I'd like to see it on the Ultratechs. I'd like to see it on the I can't believe I cannot remember the name of it, but the OTF with the actuator in the middle of the handle. I'd like to see it applied to that and just see a little more change across the board from Microtech. That would really get me excited. This is one I'm going to consider picking up because I really do love this knife, and maybe it is time to bring a Microtech back into the personal collection. But that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of Microtech in general right now. They're making some changes. They're making a little noise. So it's interesting to see what everyone's thoughts are. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.